Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the afternoon live show here at the Investing Bros. And this morning, we went very in depth, had a special morning live show, went in depth on what Bitcoin was doing, some levels that you had to take a look at. We're going to look at more Bitcoin today, but I want to dedicate the majority of the show today to check in on the health of some of your favorite altcoins. Well, I got a fat list. You guys know I'm now a big fan of these white note papers. Yes, we're in blockchain. Yes, I'm streaming to you on a computer, but you never can go away from the good old favorite of paper and pen. Got my notes on here. I have some altcoins we're definitely looking at. We will make sure at the end of the show to have some Q&A as well. However, we also have to take a look into the stock world a little bit today because something very, very big happened that could have some amazing bullish ripple effects for the crypto industry. What is that? You thought I was going to answer it right now, then you're just a silly little goose because we're going to have to wait until the end of the show to get there. But if you smash the like button and watch all the way through, you'll get that answer. Let's go ahead and roll that intro. All right. Who has gotten used to at this point, if you've been watching the show for a while, who is still not used to me being on the right and T-Stream being on the left? I don't know if I'm quite used to it just yet. But again, we made the switch so we actually look like we're looking at each other, despite the fact that there's probably, like 300 miles between us at the moment. It is what it is. How are you doing today, T-Stream?
Well, Tim, I'm feeling better than I deserve. And
Good.
I got a little show and tell. You were showing off your notebook there, confirming that you do live in the physical world. I've got my hand grip muscle strength enhancer right here. I actually use this quite a bit during the stream. It's good to keep my hands firm, keep them strong, because you don't want to lose. You don't want to make weak hands. You want to make strong hands, baby.
It's true. You know, T-Shum, in the world of technology and computers, you know what we call notebooks and pen and paper?
I don't know.
Real world assets. There we go. Starting off strong with the show. All right. I promise you we're actually going to do some constructive stuff here. See people saying AVAX TA. AVAX is one of the coins you are absolutely going to get some TA on today. However, before we get into all of the TA and before we get into the bubbles, everyone's favorite segment, you guys even gave us feedback on that. You guys love looking at bubbles. I want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that is Decrypted.Tax. And again, some of you might be saying, Tim, it's June. Why are we talking about taxes? I just got done with those stupid things. Well, that's the exact reason why we're talking about it right now, because most of you probably were not happy with how tax season went this year. And if that is the case, I have got the guy for you at Decrypted.Tax. Ernest is the best guy out there. He does my taxes. He does T-Shroom's taxes. He saved both of us thousands of dollars. And if you want to prepare yourself for next season, don't start preparing for taxes in March of next year. Start today. Give him a call. When you tell him the bros sent you, not only do you get 25% off, you also, before spending a single dime, get a 60-minute free consultation, get some great advice on how to prepare yourself for this next year of crypto gains. Check out Decrypted.Tax. Now it is time for the beloved bubbles. Here we go. Sea of Red once again, but I think a lot of you guys knew that one. Notice that there's not necessarily one big red bubble, but there's a lot with pretty significant numbers. Core down 21%. TIA down 20% here as well. Stacks is down. Oh, that hurts. I love Stacks. Jupiter, one of our favorites, is down pretty significant. Near, one of our favorites, is down. Jasmine is down. Whiff, I wouldn't say Whiff is one of our favorites, at least here at the Investing Bros, but maybe it's one of your favorites. It's down pretty significantly here as well. As a whole, altcoins taking a big dip. What corresponds with altcoins bleeding pretty heavily? It's usually a rising in the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance, in case you didn't know, it's actually down a little bit. Back up, though, above 56%. Bitcoin dominance will come up during the show today. But let's check out here. What was I looking at? Oh, you know what I was looking at? Sometimes I forget I have things opened. I don't know if you guys knew this. If anyone has been checking out the Fear and Greed Index from alternative.me, this thing is broken. Look at the last 3 months here. It had a little bit of movement, and then out of nowhere, despite some rises and some falls. We really can't get out of this range between 78 and 71. That's not accurate. What I was looking at was the real fear and greed index, in case you guys are wondering, zooming in here on CoinMarketCap. It's actually, when I zoom in, it doesn't show it, does it? Well, that's a travesty. The real fear and greed index is sitting at 55. So that's what I was looking at here on CoinMarketCap. It did reach up here into the 90s during March, which is, I think I've told you guys before, this is why we didn't catch it, because of this freaking broken thing over here. Normally, though, if I were to show you the history, it's pretty normal pre-bull market tops to have a rise up in the 90s and then a fallback, just like we saw in June of 2019. Well, that's what we're seeing right now. Is we did rise up into the 90s. We're now back down here below 60. I wouldn't be surprised, however, ladies and gentlemen, if we get ourselves down closer to 40 before the dip on Bitcoin is over. So keep an eye on that right now. But if you guys have been using this website and you're very confused as to why Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is still at 74, despite a lot of fear, it's because this thing is broken. Just wanted you guys to know that. That's a little segue, but I think it was important for you guys to know. Let's check out what is happening here, but I also want to bring attention to a specific number on this page. In the last 24 hours, Bitcoin is down 3.5%. That's that's more than I've seen a lot of other times on doing the show, looking at Bitcoin's 24 hours. So significant move down today. Part of the reason why is because yesterday afternoon, 24 hours ago, we were rallying with the potential for a bullish breakout. Did not happen. It was a fake out. We're back down. Ethereum's down, 4.3. BNB is down 5. Solana down almost 10%. Ooh, back down to 131. It's one of the coins we will be doing some heavy TA on today. XRP, after having a bullish day yesterday, it is down 7.4 today. Doge is down 10. Toncoin's down 11. Cardano's down pretty much 11. Same for SHIB. And then AVAX down 12%. So again, a lot of blood in the altcoin space, but something I want to draw your guys' attention to that's actually a little bit, some people are going to look at this and be discouraged. I actually look at this and think this is a beautiful thing because we are in the middle of a bull market right now, ladies and gentlemen. It might not feel that way if you just invested about a week ago, but we are in a longer-term bull market. But take a look at the last 90 days. Bitcoin up 0.04%. Pretty much, this is the same price that Bitcoin was at 3 months ago. We have not moved. Ethereum only up 2%. BNB, actually, the biggest gainer for a lot of them, it's up 9%. You do have Toncoin, who's made some big moves in the last 90 days, is up 67%. But take a look at these altcoins. Solana down 24% in the last 3 months. Cardano down 40%. SHIB down 32%. AVAX down 52%. 37% for Polkadot. This, again, if you might be saying, Tim, why are you telling me this? This is hurting my feelings. It's making me want to cry. To me, I look at the fact that we are in a bull market and these things are down this significantly over a 3-month period. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I think it's a great time to be scooping up some more of these cryptos. But let's go ahead and jump in and talk about the charts here. Let's go over to the Bitcoin chart. Some of this I talked about this morning. So we're going to kind of go through it again. But yesterday, someone in chat said, oh, Tim, looks like we're not going to get that 64.4 you talked about. And I said, we'll see. Well, we have seen, and we did get my 64.4. In fact, we're sitting on 64.4 at the moment. I told everybody this morning, while we're sitting on a strong level of support right here for the daily smart trail, I would not be surprised for a plethora of reasons to see Bitcoin's price actually come back down towards this blue line to where we have a very strong order block somewhere between 62,000 and maybe even as low as closer to 60,000 itself, with a little wick below this blue line. What is that blue line, though, in case anyone is asking? Let's zoom out here for a second, and let's do a little bit of history, because this is what I did not do this morning. I gave you guys a lot of price targets for Bitcoin, but I didn't talk about the history of where we are in the bull market. I'm going to take the time right now to do so, to educate you. Now, what I did tell you this morning was this is a long-term, pretty much a flat level of resistance right here on 72,000 with a rising level of support dating back here all the way to February of 2024, another touch here on May 2nd, and you guys can see we are working ourselves now. If we hit 62 to 60,000, that would be another touch on this blue line. What do these triangles usually do? Glad you asked that, because I'm going to show you Traditionally, if you take the opening of the formation and you move it over to the breakout spot, in this case, we're talking about around $72,000, this would see Bitcoin's price all the way up to, let me go back to the log chart here, and let me redraw this. I don't know why I was on linear. Silly Tim. Let's go back to this one again. Let's draw it again. There we go. I like that a lot better. This would take Bitcoin's price over $100,000 up to $102,000. The other thing, just so you guys are aware of, is we talked about a potential inverse head and shoulders pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder currently being built. What would that send Bitcoin price to? Not necessarily as bullish as the triangle, but it could see Bitcoin get to 92,000 itself. So still a lot of, when you zoom out, a lot of reasons to stay bullish on Bitcoin. We'll talk more about that here in a little bit later, but let's focus for right now on the historical movement of where we are in the bull market and the fact that it looks like we are in another ascending triangle. This isn't just important because ascending triangles are bullish. It also has some historical data to go with it. Let's go back to our larger time frame. And I don't have it drawn here. So let's go ahead. Let's draw this just so you guys have that visual representation on this chart as well. Nice symmetrical triangle pattern. Where are we right now in the bull market? Let's kind of zoom out here. Yes, we're kind of forming this one a little bit different in the timeline compared to the 4-year cycle than previous ones, but it's right here. It started before the halving event, and it's somewhere nowhere close to the 4-year cycle's perceived top, probably somewhere around September, October of 2025, way over here, right? Let's go back into past bull and bear markets and take a look what's happening here. Really quickly, I see the super chat from Gramsci. I have no idea what that is. Thank you for the super chat, but I don't know what that is. If I did, I'd comment on it. But I don't know if that's a scam or something else. Back to my chart here. Let's go back and take a look. I'm gonna go all the way back to the first pre-bull market halving event way back here in 2012. Now, I already have it drawn here for you guys, but I want to go and just rep it with you. So we had this big top back here in 2011. Of course, we would go on to have a pretty obliterating bear market. This bear market actually would drop, oh, if I can grab my tool correctly, I could tell you. This would be about 94%. Pretty dramatic bear market right there. But then, of course, we would begin to rally. And then right here, before and leading into the halving, through the halving, we would hit a top, drop back down. In this case, is actually a pretty dramatic pullback in Bitcoin's price, about 50%. We would then go on over the next couple of months between August of 2012 all the way over here until January of 2013. We would set ourselves up a symmetrical triangle pattern of sorts where we kind of continue to use this zone around $13.92 as resistance. Can we pause for just a second and talk about how at one point people were really worried about if they were holding too much Bitcoin because it was at $13.92 and they were selling it? All right, we're going to go back to reality and we're going to talk about Bitcoin's price. My point overall is, again, a relative flat level of resistance with rising level of support right here close to the halving event. What would go on to happen? Boom, we break out bullishly. Massive moves still came into Bitcoin's bull market. And you can make an argument that that really wasn't the top, even though we did see a nice correction here in 2013 of about 81% during a bull market, which is crazy. We would go on to top out in December and then start December of 2013 and then start a longer prolonged bear market. All right, boom. We're fast forwarding in history. Let's keep moving on here. You get out of the bear market, you start to make a rally, you make a new top starting a higher high and higher low bullish foundation on Bitcoin here in November of 2015. What happens once again? Now, this one again is before the halving event, but this point still stands. Boom, we come in here. We have a flat level of resistance around $471. I'm not going to pause this time. That's still just crazy. I wish I could buy at $471 for Bitcoin. It dropped back down, pretty significant drop here. In fact, this opening was roughly a 40% opening, but then again, higher lows during that flat top, bullish breakout, bull market, even though we had another boring phase around the halving event, because again, we talked about that before, post-halving usually is boring for Bitcoin, we would go on to have an extremely explosive bull rally. You even could make a partial argument for an ascending triangle right there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to focus on this one right here. Now we move into this bull market. We move into this bull and bear market back when we topped out in 2017, pulled back down during 2018, all the way back to 3,000 for Bitcoin. There isn't necessarily an ascending triangle in play right here, but I want you to do a little bit of an imagination game with me. What happened in price action right before the halving event and through it. Okay, we've already established, if you're newer here, you cannot count the COVID dip that happened on March 20th as being reliable reasons to be bearish on Bitcoin. The whole world was shocked and people made moves because we didn't even know if we would have a tomorrow, the majority of us. I don't count the dramatic price movement that happened here. What I do look at, though, for example, is we did have a big run up on Bitcoin's price, pulled back down 53%. But then here, starting in December of 2019, we started something interesting. And if I was to get rid of all this price action and only pay attention to what happened right before and right after this price action, look at what we would have in play, okay? So we start to set this top here around $10,000. We have a pull down here to roughly 64.74, okay? Don't count COVID, but then post-COVID, once it shook out, look at how we have a nice rising level of support throughout this whole process with that flat top in play around $10,000. What is that formation? Another ascending triangle right there around and through the halving event. What would go on to happen? Boom, another explosive bull market. All this leads me to a very simple and easy point. Are we simply seeing a repeat of history once again right now playing before our eyes with another before/through having ascending triangle with the Bitcoin price action just making its way in this formation only to break out later this summer and go on to potentially over $150,000 to $200,000 in price action before this green line here around, oh, that's going to go way after that green line, excuse me, before a line that I don't have drawn way over here where we get into October, September area of 2025. I believe that there's a good case to be made. We are simply making another historical copycat move in the Bitcoin 4-year cycle. Now, another thing, and I might make a video for a lot of newer investors about this. This will be the last point I talk about Bitcoin, and then we will get into altcoins. But there's a couple reasons right now. If you asked me, Tim, do you think there's a chance that the bull market top is in, that this was a premature cycle where we hit a new all-time high early, but we're also that was the doom of Bitcoin, and we're going to go ahead and crash. Altcoins are done. Bitcoin is done. This is a foolhardy mission. People are about to get wrecked because they expect prices to go higher, but it's not going to. There's a handful of reasons why I think that is not the case. But let me tell you possibly one of the biggest reasons why I believe that this bull market is nowhere close to over, and it has to do with the Bitcoin dominance chart. Now, I've covered this for a lot of reasons. Again, I also tweeted out earlier today, I even said in the video this morning, watch this, guys, go up to 60%. Why? Because not only are we climbing right now, despite the fact that everything is falling, which is a very good bullish catalyst for Bitcoin dominance, traditionally, when you get to these spots where you hit your peak before the altcoin season, this is a season not of everything crashing. It's actually everything rallying. Just Bitcoin is rallying faster than everything else. I don't believe we will cross over into 60% before we actually start to see Bitcoin hit new highs. Why? Because that's what happens historically. But I'll tell you another thing that happens historically. Let's take a look at a time when there were altcoins that were heavily in the field and what the Bitcoin dominance looked like at the top of those bull markets. To do this, I got to start by going back. We really only can look at 2017 and 2021. Let's look at some dates here and examine what's happening on the wrong chart. Let's go to Bitcoin. Yeah, don't want to look at Ethereum. Here we go. What is this date? It says right here, December of 2017. We're also going to take a look over here around November of 2021. Pay attention to those dates because December of 17, November of 2021, those were the tops of the bull markets and altcoins. While some of them rallied a little early, some of them a little later, the whole bull market ended around those times. Let's go back to Bitcoin dominance. And despite the fact that there's been times in history where Bitcoin's over 98%, there's been other times where we rally up here to 71. Let's look at those dates. December of 17 or around that area and November of 2021. Oh, would you look at that? December of 2017, we were down at 36% dominance. We were at the bottom of Bitcoin's dominance during this whole cycle. Let's look at maybe November of 2021. Oh, would you look at December area of 2021? We were sitting down here at 40%, darn near close to the bottom of where we would ever be. Technically, we dipped a little bit lower in August of 2022, But other than that, for the most part, the tops of the bull markets mark the bottoms of Bitcoin dominance. Where is Bitcoin dominance, and where does Bitcoin dominance come from? This is not Bitcoin dominance moving to the downside. Bitcoin dominance, since back here in August of 2022, has steadily been climbing, just like it did back here during the bear market of 2018, just like it's still doing so, because it's not yet time for the cycle to be over. The Bitcoin bull market, or the crypto bull market, excuse me, will probably be done back when we see Bitcoin dominance somewhere between 40 to 36% once again. So this is a very strong reason, a very confident reason for you all right now to not necessarily be too concerned about a potential crash in the market, because right now Bitcoin dominance is so freaking high. These are not the tops of bull markets. This is not the sign to sell all of your bags and move it back into US dollar and wait for a big drop to happen. This is simply another historical, as I showed you here before, historical move of a halving event in an ascending triangle on the short time frame we're moving down, but there is still so much room for this chart to go up and this chart to go down. Do not FUD out simply because somebody on social media said, uh-oh, I think that we're going to crash. Look at the analysis, look at the data, look at the charts. Nothing is saying right now that this bull market is over. All right, let's take a break. I got to get a sip of water. I got to get a little sip of hydration. You guys know that we are big believers in hydration here at the Investing Bros T-Stream. Tell the people a little bit about your passion and love of hydration.
You know, hydration really means more to me than what a lot of people think. The world is 70% water, like the mass of the earth, and human bodies are about 70% water, or so I'm told by mainstream education. Of course, who knows? It could be 70% magic, pure magic, mithril. But every day I wake up, I drink water. It's the very first thing I do when I wake up. What's the first thing you do when you wake up, Tim?
Probably pee.
Okay.
Which means I need to go hydrate right after because I've just lost liquids from my body.
Yeah, it's important. I think hydration is the stop loss of being human. Let that sink in. Let that sink in.
I don't think I even can comprehend what exactly is being communicated in that sentence. But it sounded really good. I will say that. It sounded really good. We're going to move on. We're about to spend probably at least 20 minutes talking about altcoins. Really, first, though, if you guys are looking to get in on some of these altcoin dips and trade them responsibly, check out BloFin. They are our trading partner of the channel. Very easy to use. No KYC, no VPN needed whatsoever. You can get in and out of trades easily. You have leverage on some of these projects upwards to 150x. I don't recommend using it. I really recommend, especially if you're newer, staying below 5x. But the point is you can trade over 270 different pairs. Some of your favorite cryptocurrencies. Maybe you can't buy on Coinbase or on Binance or other places. You can buy them here. But here's another very good reason to be using our link and to sign up for BloFin, because now over in Discord, you now can go into Discord. You can create a ticket. I'm not going to create one, but you can create a ticket when you sign up with our BloFin link and you insert your UID and start entering your trades in the BloFin trading page. No one's even been in here yet. Once a week, every single Friday, we will be giving one of our BloFin traders a $50 trading bonus. I might even from time to time just give you guys some of my cash as well. But you do have to use our link and you do have to get into our Discord to sign up and be eligible to win that weekly giveaway. Go sign up right now using BloFin. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I have 6 coins we're about to take a look at. I have 3 more that I really want to. I just don't know if I can do 9 coins of technical analysis in the next little bit. But if we have time with Q&A later, and you guys want these 3 reserves, we can go in there as well. Just so you know what we're about to cover. And I just want to give you guys anticipation. So you might be like, oh, is he going to talk about my coin? These are the coins we're about to talk about. Solana, Ondo, ChainLink, AVAX, ICP, and Kaspa. And if for some reason we have time, or if you guys want during Q&A section, I also really would like to take a look at Stacks, Dot, and Render. I think all these charts are very, very fascinating. But let's go ahead and dive into the charts. Nice. What is happening here? What have we gotten right? What have we gotten wrong? Let's talk about it here on the altcoin space. Now, There's been a lot of things that I would say we have gotten very, very right. I think there's some things that we are maybe misjudged a little bit. And the truth is, it's actually a dream come true that we're getting these opportunities again. Way back here, we called Solana's dip perfectly. People called us crazy when Solana was sitting at $200, and I told you guys, hey, we could be dropping back to 118. You guys thought we were nuts. Where did we wick down to? Oh, look at that, 118. A little higher there. Yeah, 118. There we go. People called us crazy. We called that one. I think the definition of that word, T-Shroom, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think that word's called perfect, which is a strange word for this channel. But in this case, we ended up calling that one perfect. Moving forward into more recent times here, we did rally back up to 184. What did I miscalculate? I told you guys there was a chance, keyword chance, that we could retouch 200, but I did not think that Solana was ready to go to new highs. I got that part right. It wasn't ready to go to new highs. I did not get touching 200 right. That is my bad. That is my mistake. I'm very sorry. If you guys did not take profit on your trades, I do deeply apologize. However, I told you guys another thing that I didn't calculate correctly. I told you do not be surprised to see us pull back down here to 143. Well, sure enough, we did that a couple of days ago, had a nice bounce, started to move back to the upside, and now we're dropping even lower. I think there's a very good chance we're coming back down into some of the same category we were just not that long ago, back here in April. We're probably coming back down into this zone between 125 and 118 once again. Let's see what Lux Algo is saying. There are some strong order blocks in this area, but you can see here there's a pretty good balance between the bulls and the bears. So more than likely, sitting here, we are under the first level of take profit. We're just so close to where we were not that long ago. This is something I actually wanted to talk about in the Bitcoin section, but I'll talk about it here. Why do we keep slowly but surely dropping lower and lower and lower on some of your alts and Bitcoin and others? Because ultimately, there's a thing happening right now. I'm bearish in the short term, but I want you guys to know I am so very bullish in the long term about all this stuff. But what I know happens in this parts of the cycle is whales look for every excuse to get the price to go lower. Why? Because they know something that I think you should know, but sometimes you don't act like you know, is that the lower you can buy, the better. Unfortunately, we look at candles or we look at pullbacks in price action of 30%, and we cry about it. When I say we, I'm talking about retail investors. We complain. We say, oh no, what's happening? Should I sell everything and run for the hills? That's how a lot of us retail investors react. The whales say, hey, you know how cool Solana is? Did you know that with all this explosion, Solana is probably going over $1,000 per coin? Do you want to buy it $200? No, I don't want to buy it $200. Remember that level down there at 118? Yeah, I think we can manipulate these dumb retail investors to freak out and sell us all their bags, and then we can go buy at 118, and instead of only getting a 5x, we can get closer to a 10x way down here. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see where they'll go with us. Ultimately, they keep testing us. This is kind of my point I want to make. They keep testing where are the retail investors unwilling to sell anymore. If they can get retail investors to sell, good. Let's keep dropping the price even lower. It's when we finally reach an area that there's just so much buying or there's so little selling that all of a sudden that's when the whales will decide, you know what? We can't push them around anymore. The only people left are the smart buyers. Go ahead and buy this dip. We'll take our gains as price moves back to the upside. So ultimately, what is happening right now, we're almost like in price discovery mode for whales of how low are retail investors willing to go with this price action, because the whales got a lot of patience. They got a lot of time on their hands. They don't care about the FUD or the FOMO. They just know they're going to get wealthy on Solana. So what I'm looking at right here on the daily chart, I do see some support where we currently are around 130, but because we're so close, I wouldn't be surprised to see price coming back down to this range. Ultimately, one of the strategies I would employ here is potentially look for maybe entering a little bit of a purchase right here with some of your dry powder and then waiting and getting a little bit more down here at this level again. Let's kick in on our charts to see potentially, do we see any type of reversal coming? Because that's the other thing I'm going to tell you guys right now that they're watching. Until we see a good reason that strength should come back into the market, there's no reason to be overly bullish on these altcoins yet. And what I see is Stochastic's RSI has been dragging at the bottom now for a while. The RSI is super low, but it's showing, hey guys, we could go lower. In fact, the RSI is not even below 30, which is technically the definition of overextended or oversold. So there's still room on the table here on the daily chart for it to move down. Same thing with this powerful indicator. Actually, there was a little bit of a buy order here on the daily chart, but you can see after a very short move to the upside, we kind of already decided we don't really know what we want to do. I want to see an overwhelming amount of support here. I see a little bit here on Solana's daily chart, but I want to see more confidence before I feel confident about repurchasing into a long-term buy. And ultimately, I'll tell you this right now, while I do want to know what the altcoin charts say, the most important one you guys should be watching is, when does the Bitcoin daily chart think that we're going to be very confident? At the moment, not seeing confidence on Bitcoin. Once I see confidence on Bitcoin and then I see confidence in the altcoins, that's my trigger to say, all right, the bulls are back in control. Let's go ahead and get in before it is too late. So again, Solana, could we reverse where we currently are around 130? The answer is yes, you could, but I would not be surprised if you do have another opportunity closer to 120 in the next couple of days. Probably spent way too much time on Solana. Let's move on to our next coin, Ondo. A fan favorite, but here we go. We just today broke below and closed below the daily smart trail. This is a sign, now that we've turned this same level into a bearish breaker block, that Ondo probably is one of the ones that could drop a little bit lower. In fact, I told you guys, keep an eye around $1. Guess where we got to this morning? We came down and wicked right below $101 to $1, give or take 7 cents. What is the actual low here? $1.08. So $1.08. Hit that one darn near perfectly. But there is a little bit lower here that says that we could come between 98 cents, and then we have a very strong order block down here at 76. I don't think we're coming to that. I think there's also some strong support sitting here around 80 cents. One of the things I'm also watching here on liquidations for Ondo, I think this is very important. I showed you yesterday, but I want to show anyone who didn't watch the live show yesterday what we're looking at here for Ondo. Still have some heavy liquidations right here below $1. So again, that kind of comes in why 98 cents is very important. And you can see it here on the 7-day, but I'll show you on the 1 month. This is more important. We see pretty much a heavy amount of liquidations that come down, and the next break we have is sitting here at 80 cents. Why is this important? Because while several other altcoins are already over 50% down from their highs, Ondo, as impressive as it is, currently is only down 26%. So to say that we could drop down here to 80 would only be actually a 45% pullback. It would simply be matching, or actually still better than, the majority of the rest of the altcoin space. I'm extremely bullish on Ondo moving forward when you take a look at the long-term timeframes and everything that's happening. But I just want you guys to know, do not be surprised if in this season, as I showed you, Bitcoin dominance on its way to the upside. Don't be surprised if altcoins stay a little boring. Ones that haven't had big pullbacks just yet do have decent-sized pullbacks. I'm scooping up with a DCA strategy as much Ondo as I can, no matter the price, because I'm overextended. But I might save a small special bag for just in case 80 cents ends up coming into the equation. I'll also save a little bit back here for about 98 as well. I think that even though Ondo is back up right now, back closer to 110, I don't think this dip is over either. Look for us to cross back below $1 on Ondo, more than likely. And last thing I'm going to look at here, let's take a look at the oscillators here. We actually have a couple reversal signals and positive money flow, but you can see our momentum, our strength still moving to the downside for Ondo. What does that tell me? Bears are still in control. The bulls are not yet ready to mount up their new rally. All right, keep moving on here. ChainLink. A lot of people have been asking about ChainLink, and here is one of those. Again, sometimes we get things right, sometimes we get things wrong. I'll tell you about both of them. ChainLink is one we got right, and I might end up getting part of this wrong. Why? Because I told you guys, if Bitcoin hits 64.4, watch for ChainLink more than likely to come down here on the daily chart and get into this order block somewhere around 1324. We wicked a little bit lower, actually down to 1292, but the point still stands. We hit my mark pretty much perfectly. That's what I got right, okay? We were right about ChainLink falling down this far. The problem is, where we're currently sitting, could we fall down even lower? And the correct answer is technically yes, we could. Where could we fall to? I'm going to look at the next spot here around $12 where I have this yellow line. This is going to be some fallback, former resistance. We could come back and treat it as support. If I take a look at my oscillators here, you will see while things are low, they're not yet convincing us they're ready to move back to the upside. Same thing, money flow has been flowing bearish. Still looks like it wants to go a little bit more to the downside. And same thing with the oscillator strength. Does not look ready to mount back up and go to the upside. This is another one I want to take a look at our liquidations for this one. Let's see what Link is looking like on these longer time frames like the monthly chart. Actually, I will say we have removed almost all the liquidity down below us. So this could be a rational argument to say ChainLink doesn't need to go down any lower. There we go, right there. That's what I wanted to see. If you go out to the 3-month, technically there is a target that bears can go after. It's going to be somewhere here in the range of around $12. Right above it, there still is some heavy longs that can be liquidated. Get all of the weak hands out, and then boom, take it back to the upside. So that yellow line, I'm not promising you we're going down that far, but especially if Bitcoin continues to sink and other alts continue to sink, don't be surprised to see Chainlink sink down to $12 as well, back down to this yellow line. All right, that's halfway through the ones I had planned. It's time to move on to another one that people love to love because of the bullishness of its future. But I will admit, this is one of the coins that probably has been underwhelming and makes people think, are they making a mistake by staying in it? This is AVAX. Got a lot of lines in here. Let's go ahead and get rid of some of them just so people aren't so confused. Now, this is one I did call for, a nice support level on the pullback down to $31. We held up for a while now. We actually held up between April to May and actually made a move back to the upside, but now we're moving back down. What are the targets we're looking at on a project that currently is down roughly 60%? I will address that here in just a second, but it is down 60%. Where could we keep on falling down to? You will see we're already within our take profit on the daily short call by Luxago. They called it there perfectly. We have set up some good bearish breaker blocks of bearish resistance here on 33. The level I'm kind of watching here that potentially could be in the equation is closer to $20. I'm interested, though, is there something on the 8-hour that's going to say there's something sooner? I don't think so. I think ultimately there's just not a lot of support between where we currently are and closer here to $21, $20 where we have an order block. Now, that's not the strongest order block in the world. In fact, actually, here's what I'm going to go and tell you. That's not a great order block at all. I'm going to change my mind here. I don't even think we drop back down that low. I'm going to put the target actually a lot closer to former resistance between $24 to $23. This level right here, oh, that actually is a perfect level to be putting some charts here. Take a look at the levels in history. If I can grab this correctly, take a look at the past levels of history where this zone was used as resistance. 1, 2, 3. If I went back further, you're going to see a lot more support even back here into the bear market of May of 2022. I'm going to put this zone. I think this zone between $21 to $23 is my zone I'm watching for support here on AVAX. I think if you drop down to this level, we have to have another conversation about AVAX potentially even going lower than that. We take a look at our oscillators, kind of the same story we're seeing with everything else, except I actually think this is one. I want to see positivity on Bitcoin, but this is one that actually might be flashing it's ready. Everything is super low. Stochastics is super low. The RSI is sitting below 30 here at 26, officially oversold. And then you come here and you take a look at what we have going on. Could the oscillator come down a little bit more? Yes, but this oscillator is sitting at 9 currently. A lot of reversal flashes. Bullish divergence has been in play, and we are now moving positively on money flow with excessive sellers leaving. So, again, could the momentum of the entire space, the entire crypto space, draw us down a little bit further, back down to closer to 23? Absolutely it could. However, I still believe this is a long-term real-world asset project that's going to make people a lot of money. Watch for a potential buy signal somewhere here around $23. And that would be just know, that would be a nice pullback. You would be buying AVAX on a beautiful 65% discount. Now, before I move on to the next one, let me address why some of these projects that are around 65% historically, actually, it makes sense that we're close to the bottom and that this is like almost a repeat of previous price action. To do that, I got to go back here to Cardano. I'm not doing Cardano local TA. We're going to save that for other videos, but I want to show you in the history of what Cardano has done, what this has looked like in the past. In fact, you guys can see two different big pullbacks where people probably said Cardano was dead. You see this pre-halving pullback for Cardano at about 70%. You also see after the halving event, Cardano would fall back 50%, 51%, and people would probably fade this if anyone who didn't see this price action said, oh no, this project is done for, massive falls here during the bear market. Guys, this is what altcoins do when it's not altcoin season. Of course, Cardano would go ahead and rally all the way over $3. It would be the top moving altcoin of the last bull market, rallying a total of a 16,500% rally. I think there are some altcoins that are going to make some very similar looking moves, just like Cardano. And I think AVAX is one of the ones that is a perfect candidate to have a similar looking trend. Yes, it's down, but when you come back here, this is just a nice bull market pullback. People should not be worried about. Let me take a break here. We do have a super chat here. FOMO Baggins. What a name. I need someone to check out Eternity RPG. Glory is the token. I feel like the game and token is too good to not be more well known. Your thoughts?
Too
I
good.
will say, I am not a gaming crypto guy. You know what's crazy, T-Shirt? I've actually played Eternity.
Really?
I stumbled upon it and played it. It's one of those like play to earn games. Here's what I'll say. I'm not a gaming guy, so I'm not going to be the greatest critic of it or the greatest benefit of it. It filled probably about 3 hours. I probably wasted too much time playing it. It filled about 3 hours of my day. It had like challenges and different things on it. I don't know anything about the Glory token. I don't know anything about the project. I don't know what the future holds. I still think crypto gaming as a whole can really continue to improve. But here's what I'll say. I've heard of this project. I've played it before. It wasn't the worst 3 hours of my life. If that's a compliment to Eternity, I don't know.
That was not on my bingo card for today. Hearing that you played any video game at all.
It probably wasn't on anyone.
How recent was this?
Month and a half, 2 months ago, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Don't ask me even why. I don't even remember why I played it. I came across it and I tried it out and it sucked me in.
Was it in a browser? Was it like super easy to? It had to have been. Easy.
I think I probably saw a commercial for it or somewhere. I don't even remember. I don't even remember why I played it. I just know that I played it. Let's move on though. Shout out to that super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Let's talk about the next token. And this is taking longer than I thought, but that's okay. I told you guys today is about altcoin updates, and I hopefully am delivering on that promise that I made to you guys. Let's check out ICP. Very, very bullish on this token long term, but it has been straight down here after breaking out of holding this support level for so long. It's now breaking out to the downside. What I will tell you to keep an eye out for on this one, because this was more of a falling wedge type of deal. I think ICP, let's just go here. ICP's potential falling out of this rising wedge could bring the price all the way down to 674 just on that merit. Let's check in with some other things, but there is some support for that area. You guys can see historically, we kind of have had some resistance in that zone during the bear market movements. So keep an eye on that one. Let's check out what Lux is saying, though, as far as what could happen. We've already hit the daily take profit, set up a nice bearish breaker block up here around 1120. This is down towards the lower end of the second take profit, but there's really no other things kind of screaming at me there. Let's go 8 hours, see if there's anything else. 8 hour is saying that's the take profit on the sell order right now. So that level starts to have a little bit more oomph to it. What would that be a discount of for ICP? That would be a discount down to 67%. So am I promising that's happening? No, but that doesn't take it out of an outrageous historical pullback for an altcoin during the bull market, but it's just part of what's happening. Even if you were to turn off everything here with Luxalgo, that's not a crazy pullback when you look at the fact that ICP came all the way down here. I mean, if you were to use Fibonacci on some of these things, it's not even that crazy of a Fibonacci pullback. It's right down right below the 0.5 level, not even back into the golden pocket. And a lot of times you can see projects pull back into their golden pocket before continuing to the upside. So just going to kind of leave that there for you. I think that's actually a pretty reasonable expectation for ICP should the dip continue. If I looked at my oscillators here as well, while everything's dramatically overextended, I don't think I see the strength that I want to see here. Reversals, but a lot of choppiness on the strength being very low. And right now, all right, here we go. This is the reason why I would say lower prices coming. Not only is money flow bearish, we're seeing right now the intake of excessive sellers. When those sellers leave, it will be a bullish catalyst. But while they're coming in, that could add that pressure for ICP to drop here just a little bit more, coming in closer to $6.89, give or take, into this green zone of former resistance. But now maybe we're treating it as support. Oh, look at that. If you really zoom in here, it actually was short-term resistance for a couple days during this bullish trend here as well. So a lot of reasons to think that that level looks interesting for a potential pullback in ICP. Last one we have here, Kaspa. Old Kaspa. Look at, I mean, Kaspa just with this nice little I mean, it didn't get there perfectly. I would have liked to go a little higher, but if I'm going to cut through some stuff and kind of say this is a fake out and this is our trend right here, you kind of have a little bit of a rising channel. Or is this megaphone? I mean, we're going to call it a channel. Let's just go ahead and let's make this a channel and just have a little bit of outliers. For the majority of the movement, we have a rising channel here in play for Kaspa. Price is coming back to the downside. Let's take a look at what it is saying the next levels of significant support are going to be, starting on the daily chart. Look at this nice fat bullish order block coming in here, along with the middle of the take profit suggestions here between 1282, between 1332 and closer to 1249. That also potentially, if that price action were to make its way down here, could see a touch of that support level before moving back to the upside. I think this is actually a pretty realistic expectation. I think if we were to go 8-hour chart, I did see some signs of support between this, but these aren't very strong order blocks right here. These are both levels we're actually getting down into them. The bulls will get more exhausted than the bears. So I don't look at those order blocks with a lot of confidence for support coming in. Kind of like that daily chart looking for maybe a move back down here lower below $13. Take a look at the oscillators here as well. Yeah, oscillators. Here's the reason why I think it's going to happen. We just dropped below the 50. So this means for this whole period, the bulls were in full charge, full control here on the daily chart, dropping below the 50, but being nowhere close to 30. This means the bears are in control at the moment, and they got a long room to go to the downside. Here, we just flipped bearish not that long ago in money flow. We have no reversals coming in, no sign that momentum is about to slow down. So I think Kaspa, of all of these, could have some of the larger pullbacks here in play, and come back even a further 10%. Oh, that's not really that serious, but another 10% pullback here for Kaspa, bringing it down from that all-time high we just hit not that long ago. Potentially, we're going to get back in the range of 35% down from that high. That's nothing for Kaspa. Kaspa just did not that long ago a nice 46% pullback from its all-time high. So this is not really that outrageous of a prediction for a pullback on Kaspa. If we were to lose that, things could get very ugly. I don't think we will. Again, my overall perspective is long-term bullish on the entire space, short-term bearish. That short-term bearishness making me look at this area around 12 cents saying looks juicy for a nice buy order. It is 347. T-shirt, here's what we're going to do. We're going to skip our third segment. We were going to dabble and talk a little bit about stocks. Really quickly, just read the headlines. We will have no discussion because we're going to get into our factoid of the day and finish the show out with Q&A because I know there's a lot of other altcoins people want to look at. But if you enjoyed those 6, if you guys have been begging and thinking, man, I really wanted to hear what Tim thought about those altcoins, make sure you guys smash that like button, hit subscribe. Really quickly, actually, before we do that, want to let you guys know Bitcoin continue to drop, wrestling with 64. Told you that probably would happen. I think that we are continuing to be on our way closer. Look for support on Bitcoin. Probably this liquidation is going to be the next one. If I refresh this page, it's going to give me Bitcoin. Defaults on the 7-day, I believe. There we go. Is that, yeah, 7 days. There we go. I gotta zoom in here because it's going to show me. There we go. Look for this. There's a nice level of liquidity and a break here around 62,000. That liquidity is around 62.7. Don't be surprised to see Bitcoin potentially come down here, drop pretty fast, and find support here on 62, 62.7 area and get a little bit of a bounce before it decides, is that the bottom or do we want to drop back down closer to 60K? All right. A lot of stuff there. Just wanted to cover that in case people are watching the chart and freaking out. This is all part of the plan. We expected this to happen. T-shirt room, headlines, factoid of the day, and then we'll do some Q&A.
My brief summary on the markets is, please buy the dip. The dip is very viable. You're not going to regret it. Yep. NVIDIA passes Microsoft in market cap to become most valuable public company. There was a time when even NVIDIA was being written off as never being able to come back. Well, now it is number one. We look at CoinMarketCap, we look at CoinGecko to see the market caps of cryptos. NVIDIA is the number one corporation. You have Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon, and you don't get a country, you don't get a company outside of the U.S. until Saudi Aramco, all the way down at number 6, and then you don't get another one until TSMC down in Taiwan. But where is Bitcoin in comparison to all this? Bitcoin 1.26 trillion. Okay, NVIDIA 3.36 trillion. At the top, you got 15.7 trillion. That is gold. So this doesn't really affect your crypto portfolio, but it could. This absolutely could trickle into the AI stocks, into the AI crypto, and AI stocks.
Yeah.
So pretty big story for the stock side. Tim, what do you think about this?
I want Crux to put a poll in, and I can only think of 3 options, but we'll go with a 4th one. What year? Because it's going to happen. What year will Bitcoin pass NVIDIA in market cap? In 2025? By 2025, I guess is the best way to put it. By 2030. Let's go by 2035, and then we'll go by 2040. Yes, I think that's pretty far out there. I don't expect that many people to say 2040. But Crux, if you can put that poll in, I'm interested in what people think. With that said, factoid of the day, and then we'll jump into Q&A. Go ahead and start dropping all of your questions, whether you have a question about trading, investing, you have a specific chart you want me to look at. We'll answer all those for about 10 minutes right after our factoid of the day.
Tim, today's factoid of the day is brought to you by Decrypted.Tax. Go over and check out who we trust with our taxes. That is Decrypted.Tax. Tim, what is the official category of Norway's government? Federal constitutional monarchy, unitary parliamentary theocracy, parliamentary confederacy, or unitary parliamentary constitutional monarchy? All very easy to say. You got to get it quick.
If you are watching from Norway, I mean no offense. Why in the world would I know? I'm not going to say why in the world would I care, because I care about people from Norway. But in a little bit, why would I care? There's a little bit of me that's asking that question. Why do I care? This is literally a eeny, meeny, miny, mo here.
Pull the trigger,
Norway.
Tim. Pull the trigger,
what
Piglet.
Sounds really fun? Parliamentary confederacy. I don't know. That seems different than the others. It seems wrong, though. I don't think that's going to be right.
Is that your final answer?
I have no rational reason for any of the others.
Here we go. Unitary parliamentary constitutional monarchy. Come on, Tim.
I was one letter away.
Oh, man. We're having fun here. Tim, shot down. You've been on a winning spree. I think you've gotten the last couple right.
I got yesterday's wrong, right?
But this is the official page of Norway. Yeah. There's the anthem.
And
that no one asked for.
Demonetized because T-Stream played another song that has a copyright on the. All right,
No, national anthems are in the public domain. They're good to go.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, otherwise Wikipedia would be getting a copyright.
Watch us get served a lawsuit by the whole country of Norway.
Yeah.
To the investing bros. All right.
British lady, the investing bros, violation of the intellectual property.
Let's go ahead and take a look. Let's get some Q&A here. I saw someone ask for Near TA. I think that's a great selection. I had Render as one of my others, but Near is a good one too. It is falling. It is falling like a rock at the moment. Here's what I'll say. I'm going to go on a limb here. Even before I turn anything else on for Near, watch the wick we had back in April. There's kind of these sayings out there. One of them is, where you wick, you will candlestick. That wick was a very random pullback, very dramatic pullback that we would jump back up and then climb to the upside here on Near. Well, we're approaching it once again. So go ahead and keep an eye on what happens here around $4.29. You will see that served as kind of an area of candle body resistance back here during the climb during December of 2023. So couple of reasons why that level right off the bat before I do any other TA is an interesting spot to watch. Let's turn on Lux. Let's see what's happening. You drop a little bit lower than that to 415. You got our first take profit of the short we're currently in. And then you also have a very strong order block / bullish breaker block here at 371. Can we make it that far? That would be another pullback of about 20%. That's a lot to ask for. That would be down 60% from all-time high. So not out of the equation for altcoins during this part of the cycle. But I feel much more confident about this $4.29 area than I do necessarily pulling back here. I think there's a good shot, though. Let's see what the oscillators are saying. They're very overextended right now. I mean, they're not showing me flip energy just yet, but the money flow did start going positive. We are getting a lot of reversals, and the oscillator is super duper low here on 633. Let's wait for bullish confirmation there, but that's part of the reason why I like this closer level around 430 a lot better than the more aggressive one. But they're definitely both still in play there. Going to be serious levels of where people want to buy. Let's do this. Let's check out what Near is saying here. I think, yeah, there's Near here. Let's see if there's any liquidity levels of significance to keep an eye on. Not really. I mean, there's a little bit kind of in this zone. There's just not a lot of liquidations on Near as a whole for Binance. You do see a pocket here that comes down to about 420. That's going to bring us down pretty much right around that yellow area. So another reason to kind of say, you know what? There's just not a lot of reason, I don't believe. Let's just look at the monthly chart just to double check here. There's just not a lot of liquidity to pull us down. And the fact that the market as a whole looks like it wants to reverse and go to the upside, that makes me say I'm not confident about 373. I am confident about closer to 420. Shout out to those who celebrate. All right. Do you see any other good questions in chat?
Tim. El Thoro said, do you guys think the mini altcoins have ruined the alt market? Too many trash out there. I think it's a good question. I have a good answer. What is yours, Tim?
Well, if you have a good answer, you probably should answer first, right?
There are many stocks, okay? That doesn't mean that some stocks aren't better than others. Invest in the best, and you'll do better than the rest.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many millions of coins there are out there. It just doesn't. What
was the specific question again? Because I think I might have understood it different than you did. Do you think many altcoins have ruined the alt market? No, I wouldn't say the number of altcoins as a whole has ruined the altcoin market. I think there will be a level of the cream will rise from the rest of the milk, and there will be only a select group in the future that are really good. But the problem is, I've said this before. Right now in crypto is like choosing the horses that you want to root for in the future. We don't know which horse is the best horse just yet. We don't know which altcoin is going to be the best of its field. So you diversify, and then in the future, it'll narrow the field down to where you'll have your selections chosen very well for you. But the good news is you'll probably already have been invested in a lot of them from very early stages. I will tell you what I think is holding the altcoin market down is making it plummet. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again because I want to. Meme coins. Someone asked earlier, there was a super chat from All Fun, great name. Which, speaking of the other super chat, did you know the FOMO Baggins? I missed the name of the super chat earlier from Eternity. FOMO Baggins, one of the all-time great names, I think, on the channel. All Fun, can you talk about Floki and Whiff? Yeah, let's talk about Floki and Whiff. They're part of the reasons why altcoins are being destroyed right now because they're absolute nonsense meme coins, which maybe you guys had fun trading them. Maybe, and hopefully if you traded them, you made some money. The sad reality is the majority of people who traded Floki and Whiff are going to lose a lot of money. And ultimately, what we're seeing happen here, go to my screen here, T-Shroom, is what was the biggest gains in the last, we even looked at CoinMarketCap, and we go back here. If you look at the last 90 days, what are the biggest gainers? Brett. They're not still up here, but they were a little bit ago. You would find a lot of meme coins up here as being the biggest gainers in the last 90 days. Well, they're also part of the reason why Total 3, which is all altcoins excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, are up here. But now that people are losing money in droves and they are crashing, looking behind me, the biggest losers on that bubble chart, most of the meme coins like Floki and Whiff, they're causing people to have a bad taste in crypto in general. What happened? People bought Floki and Whiff and other meme coins. They also then went ahead and bought some of their altcoins as well. But now as they're losing money hand over fist in these meme coins and these celebrity coins that are absolutely nothing, it's causing them to get angry at crypto as a whole and sell off all of their crypto. So what's my take on Floki and Whiff? And what's my take about, are there too many altcoins making it bad for the rest of the altcoin space? The ones that I blame for big pullbacks in altcoins, especially this big pullback, it's meme coins. I've talked about this long before. It's a part of the cycle. Ultimately, there's one thing I thank them for is they're pulling all these altcoin backs that are good long term. I'm getting to buy some amazing dips because I think the same way as the whales. But for you guys who are sitting here frustrated saying, why are my Ondo bags falling? Why are my Solana bags falling? Why am I so far down from my all-time high? I'm down 60% from a couple of weeks ago when we were at all-time highs. It's because people who bought meme coins are ditching crypto altogether. You know what I say? Good riddance to the soft hands. Good riddance to the people who bought high and are now selling low. You'll come back in when Bitcoin's over 100K and altcoins are pumping up 3, 4, 5x. Hopefully you catch a little bit more of the bull market. But for now, you're bringing the prices back so that me and a lot of the whales can buy these low dips. And hopefully you guys are doing so as well, because this is what's going to make people rich in the future. But temporarily, meme coins are making us poor.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tim, we didn't discuss this, but before the show, I actually looked at there is an official, because I saw a lot of people at the front end of the show asking, why are we dipping? What is the reason? There's an official reason from CNBC. Are you interested in this article here?
It's probably similar to what I said earlier, but yeah, let's see what the article says.
So title, Bitcoin drifts back under 65K. Check this out. So this is kind of the Wall Street line. Oftentimes when traders are unimpressed with how the economy or markets are performing, they either sell at a discount to minimize their losses or exit riskier positions while they wait for uncertainty to clear up. Today, we're likely seeing one or both these scenarios play out. Economic conditions around the globe are weakening, geopolitical issues are far from resolution, and markets are thinner during the summer months. Given this perfect storm, moves will likely be parabolic in one direction or another, at least for the next few months, while many people are away from their desks on holiday and the U.S. presidential election plays out.
Yeah.
That's the company line there.
This morning, T-shirt, we talked about an article that the other reasons they're going to say is, so that one covered one of them, economic concerns. Well, what was the economic concern? We thought we were heading for more rate cuts. Jerome Powell came out and pretty much said, well, you can expect 1 by the end of the year. So people are saying, oh, I wanted 3. I'm upset. Is the economy in trouble? Let me sell off. Weak hands. Retail investors. Who cares about that? Another reason people are saying is because miners are capitulating. We knew they would. We predicted that they would. Why? Because the ability to mine a Bitcoin just became twice as hard as it was a couple of months ago. The poorer, weaker-handed miners are capitulating because they can't keep paying their bills. Guess who's going to scoop up the responsibility? The larger miners like CleanSpark and Mara and others. They're going to be just fine. That's not a concern to me. Again, weaker hand miners. The third one is going to be, they say, the ETF outflows. Well, T-Shroom, guess where the majority of ETF inflows happened at this point? We had a massive amount of inflows down here towards 49, but most of them have probably come in this range between 66,000 and 72,000. What does that make these ETF holders that are probably liquidating? It makes them newer investors, weak hands. I'm throwing them right in the same pile as people who bought on Coinbase or Binance more recently. They're weak hand, short-term holders. They're freaking out because the markets are moving down and they're reading articles that are written by whales telling you sell, 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 and they're doing it. All the while, the same people writing those articles are looking to add to their bags and moving their Bitcoin. Instead of selling it for US dollars, they're moving it into cold wallets like Arkless. And free shout out to Arkless right there, even though we're not having them sponsor this video. If you want an Arkless wallet or a cold wallet, check out link down below. BROZ10 gets you 10% off. Not that bad. So that's, to me, there's excuses for this dip. Ultimately, what it is, I'm going to put it on this. This dip is dipping. The prices are going down because they can, so that whales can get better buy orders, and we're getting rid of all of these short-term, weak-minded retail investors who can't stomach volatility. They're going to get out. At a certain point, they'll all be gone. All that would be left is whales, and those of us watching this channel who are stronghold diamond hand holders who refuse to sell. Price goes up after that.
And what I would add to that,
I need one of those.
What I would add to that is the question: if you're a grip strength company out there and you want to sponsor the Bros, hit us up, send us an email. But what I would add to that is, you might ask, well, why now, Tim? They've had a long time. The ETF's been out for a while. Why would they pick now? Well, it's because there is generally, it's like what CNBC had just said there with that headline. It's like there's also macro conditions. There seems to be a little bit less liquidity in the market that's following and chasing risk, that wants to take risk. So all of these things can be true at the same time. But rest assured, like folks who've learned techniques on Wall Street to scare off weak hands, they're going to employ those techniques as soon as it's convenient to them, as soon as it's expedient, as soon as they've unwound leverage positions that would be, not in their favor to hold, right? And we're not going to be privy to that type of knowledge, but buy the dip.
Yeah.
With money you can afford to lose, and make sure you're going to be able to pay your rent, put food on the table, all those good things, and you're going to have a very nice bull market.
Boom. Well, T-Shroom, it is time to go ahead and wrap up the show. I'm going to be on Stocks with Josh here in about 30 minutes at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. I will be live with Stocks with Josh. Go check us out there. Also, if you guys, I know a lot of people want a lot more TA done. Here's the thing. I'll do the best I can to enter as much as I can during the live shows. But the place that you want to go, if you want to see me do TA on all of your favorites, is going to be joining our VIP trading group. I'm not even going to tell you how to do it. You guys got to go into our Discord, enter a ticket. I'll help you out. But look for news coming here, T-Shroom. We're going to talk more about this tomorrow. If you guys want more access to T-Shroom and myself and helping you guys learn technical analysis, help you guys learn better how to invest properly and create your portfolios, there are going to be several different tiers coming to Discord where you guys will be able to join memberships, get more access to me, T-Shroom, and other people who have years of experience investing in the crypto space. Look for those updates coming later this week. But with that said, we love you guys. On your way out, smash the like, hit the subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow. Adios.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shouted out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.